Hi everyone that is decided to watch this. Rosie and I thought that we'd just, I'll let Rosie explain in a second, but we're a bit out of our comfort zone, so if this is a bit messy, we do apologise. Rosie's just going to explain what this is about.
Yeah, so we just wanted to do a little overview of our year through all the ups and downs that we've had, and it's just a bit of something hopeful for everyone, that where you can actually see hope in hard times. And we just want to really talk about how God's helped us over this year and how thankful we are to have everybody around us, and just having God it's just been really amazing. We went into last year so excited. It was going to be the year we were going to graduate, we were going to get married, we were going to go on honeymoon, we're starting a new job, everything was amazing, and then obviously things turned pretty upside down straight away.
Obviously this whole year has been different to any year that any of us have lived through with coronavirus. So it just shook things up. But even before that, our year didn't start very well. I was signed off with burnout, depression and anxiety from work at a church I worked for in Langley Mill, which I loved. But it was just one of the things that was just adding to all of my levels of anxiety. And I went to the doctors. They were like, you need to take some time off. That included time off from studies as well, and I took 2 weeks just to sort of try and regather myself. This was towards the end of February, and there was a certain day where I was particularly very low, and it was really sad because Rosie you'd done everything that day to make it the best day ever. We went out for ice cream, we went to go see some baby cows, Hope Valley ice cream or something, whatever the name is, and so we tried to, like, Rosie had done amazing. We'd had like a chippy tea, I had a battered sausage, top tier, but it just showed how ill I was, because it was just the worst day I've ever had, and for the first and last time, thanks to God, it was the only time I've ever felt like I wanted to die, and that I really considered killing myself. Which is a hard thing to talk about, but we want to put this in this video because we want to break more stigma, although stigma is being broken more regularly now, that it's important to talk about mental health and your experiences. And I was put into counselling, which lasted all the way up until August, over the phone, and that was amazing. And I want to give thanks to Talking Mental Health Derbyshire for assigning me with a really good counsellor, but also we went to a weekend where somebody prayed for me, and I just felt God release me of a lot of the depression in particular, and yeah, I felt set free. Like, I really did. I felt God really remove something from me.
And then in March we found out that we potentially had a job for September, which was what we're doing now, which is youth and community workers split over 2 churches. We looked into it and it was perfect for us. Yeah. If you know us, we both love working with young people and love being in the community with people and just letting them know that they're loved. So this was a perfect job. We were so excited for this. And then shortly after we'd found out about that, everything with coronavirus happened. Everyone started going into panic mode. Our friend at Cliff, where we studied, he showed symptoms for coronavirus, so managed to shut the college down overnight, even though he didn't have it, luckily, which meant that myself and Brad, who was with him all the time, we got put into quarantine for 2 weeks, which was really difficult. Everyone at Cliff got to spend time with each other before going home, and we were just quarantined without saying bye to anyone, really. After just over a week, I think, we got let out of quarantine, and we lived at Cliff over the summer. It was the safest thing to do. Yeah,
we couldn't risk going back to see other people, because at this point, you know, we'd just gone into a national lockdown. Literally, it was the day after the national first lockdown was announced that we were able to go and go back to our flats that we were living in. A couple of weeks later, not even a couple of weeks later, I think it might have even been the same week, I get a text off my dad saying that my mum's just been taken to hospital. She's really ill, we don't really know what's going on, loads of chest pain, stuff like that. Turns out she had pneumonia, and after a couple of days that spread into being respiratory failure, and we really thought we was going to lose her. You know, you hear the term respiratory failure, it doesn't really fill you with hope, surprisingly. We, at that point, we just sent out like massive prayer messages to everyone we could, just like, please pray for my mom. You know, she's really ill, and we had people praying from all over the world for her. Hundreds of people would have been praying for her, and she said that she felt the presence of God come next to her, and she began to feel better.
And at this time we were going through our work, we were finishing essays, we were writing our dissertation, which was due in June. And before that we got into May time, and it kind of hit us that we needed to think about our wedding, which was happening in September, and we had planned to have about 250 people there in the evening, and it was going to be a big huge wedding celebration with all of our friends, and it got to the point where we just had to cancel it. May we cancelled our wedding, which was so hard. It was something we'd been planning for nearly 2 years, and all of a sudden it just had been completely taken away. All of hours of planning and favours and everything just completely, a lot of it had gone to waste. It was really, really upsetting, but we just sat back and thought, at the end of the day, people are dying, people are in a really bad place, and the least we could do is cancel our wedding if it helps the stop of the spreading the virus. And so we decided that we were going to just cancel wedding, which was hard, but we just kept trusting in God. We trusted that we were going to get married. We knew we were going to get married. God was so faithful, and he was stuck by us to do all of this so far, but it doesn't mean that we didn't have such a hard time with it all.
And then, so that's literally like the day before Cliff Festival, something that we are on the youth team for, happened, and this year that was completely different because we had 6 weeks to take a in-person programme and transfer it all to being online. We fast forward straight into June, which is dissertation week. We finished our dissertations. It was so hard. The library was shut, which made it even harder, but we got through it, we did it, we handed them in, and we had a beautiful week of weather, which meant we could go on loads of walks with living in the Peak District, and we got really, really fit and healthy over this time because there was nothing else to do, but we were still kind of nervous about what was going to happen with our jobs and everything like that. And we go into July. And so we'd sort of had a bit of radio silence about this job that we'd heard about from the principal at Cliff, and then they prayed about it, and they really felt that it was the right thing to do despite trying to hire in the middle of a pandemic. So they held an interview for us. We felt a real sense of peace. We had the interview over Zoom, and it was nice to dress up, wasn't it? Like for a day instead of like, you know, living in joggers. So that was really cool. We was able to meet with the people we were possibly going to be working with, and there was a real sense of peace afterwards. And after that, they rang us back within 45 minutes and were like, you guys have got the job, we're really looking forward to meeting you. I understand that you were meant to be having some accommodation, but both of the accommodation options have fallen through, so we need to just be rethinking about where you're going to live. So
that was quite scary that within a couple of months we were getting married, and we had a job but we had nowhere to live, so that was quite worrying. But to take our mind off it, I went home and had my hen party, which was so different to what I had planned, but I'm just so thankful that I got to spend time with some of my friends at home in my garden, which my friends were amazing and put loads of stuff on with the help of my mum, and it was just an amazing hen party. And then you had your stag. In August, and government guidelines were slightly different between the two of them. So in July, Rosie could meet with up to 15 people outside, but I could only meet with 6. But it was great anyway. It didn't matter. Like, I think both of us loved our days either way, and I think they weren't what we expected, they weren't what we planned, but we loved them regardless. So now we're in like the middle of August, and one thing we haven't spoke about is the fact that we didn't know if we was going to get married. The first week of August, we're trying to get in contact with the registry office to tell them that we would like to change venue, because the venue we were going to get married at is Rosie's home church, which is a big church, so we thought that we'd try and downscale
a little bit so that we could do it in the chapel at Cliff. But to any of you who have got married, you will, unless it's in the Anglican Church, you will know that you need to have a 30-day clearance period of a wedding licence. So we were fighting to get one of them done in time. The registry office just weren't picking up.
Yeah, the registry office were not helpful at all. They didn't pick up. We were stressing out. We couldn't get in touch with anybody. And then we decided, you know what, we're going to just keep it at my home church. We're going to do that. We're going to take loads of pressure off us. And then we got in touch with the minister because the ministers had swapped, so we needed to sort it all out with a new minister. And we found out that the church wasn't even open because it had been shut since March because of COVID. So we were then thinking, we're not even going to be able to get married in our home church now. So that had to go through church council. We were absolutely terrified that it wasn't going to get passed. But in the end,
unanimous vote at church council, which meant that we were able to get married. But we only found that out on the 17th of August, and we were getting married on the 4th of September. So that gave us 3 weeks to pull everything together to get married. Even though it had to be small, we had to keep it underneath 30 people, including registrar, minister, and any form of church steward that needed to be there on the day too.
But we managed to do that, and we got it down to 17 people. We just had to be really strict with who we had, which meant we could only have 2 friends each, and our family. And we just want to say a massive thank you, really, and appreciation to my parents, who I was just so thankful for them. They put us up for a few weeks, and before the wedding, they did everything for the church. They got it all, helped getting all sorted while we were trying to pack to leave to our new job. They paid for so much stuff for us, and they just helped us out, and I was just so thankful for their help, or we wouldn't have got a lot of it done, really.
No, they were amazing. They did so much for us, and my mum and dad, they were just there for me the entire time because stress levels were high. I was coming to the end of my counselling, and they just really supported me emotionally during that. And then we get to like the week of our wedding. We're getting married on the Friday, and on the Monday, you know, you sort of think, oh, it's wedding week, oh yeah, we're finally getting married this week. And we have to go to Northwich to start moving our stuff in. We didn't have anywhere to live yet, so we was putting it in one of the churches we work for. The minister, he has an annex, and he was like, if you need to stay here for a few nights until you find somewhere to live, then like that's fine. So on the Wednesday before the Friday where we got married, we put everything in his annex.
That was pretty stressful. We just had to throw everything in, and then on that day we actually went to view a few places. 2 of them, they were okay. They just didn't feel right. They just weren't really great. And then we viewed. We actually found somewhere online that we like the look of, and we rang the landlord and said, is there any chance that you're in today, because we want to view it, even though we'd seen that it wasn't available till October. And he spoke to us and he said, oh, that was wrong, it's actually available now, and I'm in the area, even though he wasn't from the area. So we went to view it, and we just fell in love with it. We loved it. We asked him if we could rent, and he said that he'll have to get back to us because of insurance. We didn't fit any of the criteria because we weren't 25 or above, and we hadn't got any references from previous landlords, and
we didn't earn enough money.
We didn't earn enough money to have the place, so we kind of left feeling a bit down, like maybe we're not going to get it, but we'll fill the forms in anyway. And the next day was the day before the wedding. We were just going crazy. Everyone was running around.
Setting up at the church. You'd gone to go grab cheesecakes, I believe.
Cheesecakes. I had to pick my dress up.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And I just get this phone call, and it's the landlord, and he's just like, look, you don't fit any of the criteria, you're not 25, you don't earn enough money, and you've got no landlord experiences, but there's just something telling me that you're meant to have this place, so I'm going to trust that feeling, the place is yours, sort of thing. So that's the day before we get married. We finally have somewhere to live. That was a massive pressure off. Yeah. God just completely sorted it out for us. Like, we trusted in him, and he
he stayed faithful to us, and he gave us somewhere to live, and he just pulled us through the whole summer. We had no clue. People were saying to us, you are crazy, you don't even know if you've got a guaranteed job at the minute, you don't have anywhere to live, you don't know if you're getting married, what are you doing? But we knew the whole time that we just needed to trust God, and he was just absolutely amazing to us. We got married. It was an amazing day. It was a lot smaller than what we had planned, but it was actually the wedding that we needed. It was just perfect. We had our best close friends there, our family there, and that evening we went off to Stratford for the night, and then we went and spent the week in Westwood Ho in Devon, and it was just the best week. It was just so relaxing, so peaceful. It just felt like the break that we had needed all year. And it just really helped us to think about what God had done for us. We came home after a week on the 12th, then on the 13th of September, we moved into a house. We had to pick the keys up in the morning, and then, my family helped us move house, and the people that were living in Northwich that were from the church helped us. We moved that morning and had absolutely no furniture. We didn't even have a bed, and we just moved into the house.
Or a fridge.
Or a fridge.
Or a sofa.
We had nothing. Apart from a TV that was very kindly given to us by a friend.
Cheers, Matt.
And then we got here. The Stanton family and the Warworks were amazing. They literally
kitted out this entire place. I mean, we basically don't own any of it. It's crazy. We moved into the bare bones of the house, and by the end of the day it was fully furnished. We had a bed, we had a sofa, we had a fridge, we had literally everything. It was crazy to think.
We were looked after so well, and it really felt like God had put people in the right place, and we've been so blessed from the people. We still are from the people here. And we're just so thankful. We moved in and everything started well. We started a job 2 days after we moved in, so it was really great. And then the 25th of September, 2 days before my birthday, and my grandpa passed away, which was really difficult. It was hard. It was like I've just moved into a new job, everything started to go well finally, and then my grandpa dies, and it was so difficult. But even in this time, the job was amazing. The minister gave us me a week off just to process everything, and I just spent that week praying, and I just felt close to God, close to my grandpa, at peace. I knew that God was with him, and that it was just such a peaceful time, a time that should have been so stressful and scary. It was just so nice. We got to pray with my grandpa over the phone before he passed away, and it was just a really great time that we had when it should have really realistically been so sad, but we were just so thankful for everything that happened and all the support that we got, even that we were living somewhere where we didn't really have many friends. And then after that we've just been working through lockdowns over Zoom, in person,
and then over Zoom.
But the main thing that we're really saying is that we've had the most difficult year. We've had death, we've had death scares, we've had no job, nowhere to live, no money, but we've had God, and that's all we've needed. And with God, you can do anything, you can get through anything. And if it wasn't for Him, we don't know where we would be, but He's just blessed us unbelievably. So thankful for all the people that have been surrounded, that we have been surrounded by, and for each other, that we managed to get married, and we've just started off married life in a really scary time, but it's just been so amazing, and we've felt so blessed.
Yeah, and there's so many things we've missed out on this video to try and cut it down, and you know, it's just incredible to look over our year and see where we were and where we are now. And we just pray for all of you that you would have just a better 2021, however that looks for you. If you enjoyed this, then let us know. If you want to chat about any of the issues that have been discussed, then please feel free to. We're here for you and we care about you. But we just pray that you have a great 2021. Thank you for being with us in 2020. All of you, it's been hard, but well done for making it through. And we shall see you next year.